My internet. Hi, everybody. It's Joanne with Reach the Unlimited. Thank you all for being here. And I would like you all to meet our guest for tonight, which is Victoria Powers. She is an author in the book. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied today. I got the book. I had to show you guys. I got the book. I actually have it in my hands. I ordered it from Amazon and it took a little time to get here. So, anyway, I have the book. And Victoria is with us because she's another author in the book, and I loved her story. And you all are going to love her because you know how I talk about we are more than a human being, we're a soul. And that's something that she has in her story. And I was very excited to read that. So, Victoria, thank you for being here. And can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me here. Yes, I'm originally from Eastern Europe, Moldova, which is a small country in between Romania and Ukraine. And I'm here in the United States for over 20 years, 22 years already.
Wow.
And my first encounter with the spirit, let's say, with the spirit world was when I was 13, shortly after my grandfather passed away. Uh, so he showed up in front of me, and I was with my little sister. She was 6 years old, playing not far away from where I was. And in my culture, when you see somebody, when you see somebody dead in your dreams, or it says, "Oh, if somebody is dead is coming to see you, they will take you with them," and all this stuff. And I got so scared. I got in front of him, like putting my arms like this, and I said, "I'm not gonna let you take my sister." And he said, "Don't be scared. I just came to see what you're doing, and that's it." And then disappeared. And I ran to my grandmother saying, "Oh, I saw my grandfather just came here." And she was like, in my culture, again, if you see in the dreams somebody who passed away was in, I cannot say in real life because nobody would believe me. Um, it means they want something on the other world, or they're hungry, or they need something. So she said, "Oh, I need to bake or cook something and give to my neighbors for his soul." So after that, I started encountering spirit world more and more. If I knew somebody who passed away from the relatives, friends, or just from the town I lived, they would just show up to just give me a message. And I got very comfortable with that. And in my 20s, I even loved it because it was such a nice connection. I could find out such interesting information. And in my 20s, I could have a connection not only with the passed away people, but also with the archangels, angels, just telling me something interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting thing, I never told anybody about my experiences because I thought everybody has this experience. Why bother uh, other people? And I would tell only my mom, probably a couple very close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And in my 20s, I understood that not too many people can have this ability.
Mm-hmm.
And always I was wondering, what is that? What is like happening to me? Why, like me, just feeling the spirit world? And I always was wondering about the soul. If I would hear something about the soul, some books that would say have stories about the soul, or some classes about the soul, I would be the first one because I was like called to find out, is the soul real? So at that time when I was in my 20s, it was in 90s. So in that part of the world, we did not know a lot about the soul, about the spirit world. It was like uh, some kind of fantasy, a world of fantasy. And I remember my brother telling me that it was mid-90s when he has read an article that scientifically it was determined that soul exists. And it was like a very popular USSR magazine, similar to National Geographic here. And I had such a relief inside, deep into my heart, to say, finally, scientifically, it's been proven that the soul exists. That was for me like something, an aha moment.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it's really incredible that you had these experiences very young, relatively young. I mean, we don't really understand all the bigger picture yet, right? And yet
Yeah.
you didn't really become afraid of it. You kept moving forward with that. And that's I feel a pretty unusual thing, because if I would have had experiences like that when I was little, I'd be in the closet. I would, I'd be like, yeah, no.
Yes, the first time I was scared, but as I said, as more experiences I had, I just got comfortable. Then I loved it, and just my mom and a couple of friends of mine knew, so I didn't really was going to gossip.
Right.
Even if I was getting the messages from the spirit world, I would not deliver the message because I have an inner knowing, an inner intuition that people will get scared and will not understand what that means, and I never told that. So with this book, I really came out of the closet, because when I put the news on my website, and all my friends from around the world and my relatives saw that, I guess they were really, really surprised.
Well, let me first say a shout out to all you guys for being here. Thank you. The Sharons and Susan and one other person is here. There's one other person. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free. Hi, Marcia. Please feel free to put it into the chat box, okay? As we go along through this interview. I forgot what my question was going to be, because I didn't want to ignore these guys. But so I know that, you talked about how your family dealt with it, but obviously they didn't understand, or they didn't know to the depth of what you're doing, because they didn't know, or you were nervous when the book came out that they would find out more. Is that correct?
Not really. I wasn't nervous, but I think it was a big surprise for everybody that I have this ability. Known me for all my life, and they didn't know anything about my ability.
And how did they take it?
I think they took it pretty well. Yeah, I didn't have any bad comments yet.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they all congratulated me.
Oh, good.
Fine.
Some people like to disown you when you're doing stuff like this. That's a pretty common trend, at least in my world it is.
Yeah, I found out that a couple of my cousins even liked it, and they're really interested in asking me questions about my ability, a couple of friends as well.
So it's interesting because in your story, hi Brenda, it's interesting because in your story, you talk about when your grandfather was passing away, and that you were actually in the it was your grandfather, right?
My father.
Your father, that's right. I knew when I said grandfather I was wrong, but I couldn't remember what it was. I'm so sorry. And I even read the story. And I liked it. But your father was passing away, and you were in the United States, and so you were having a dilemma on what to do with that. Can you tell people about that part of your story? Because it's really interesting.
Yes, I was here in the United States, and I'm here right now too. And for quite a few years, I went to Psychic Horizon Center in Boulder, Colorado, where I was just, practicing clairvoyant program, learning and doing readings, but it was like something that I enjoyed to do besides my career. And one day my brother called and said that our father had a stroke and he's in coma, and they don't know if he's gonna come back out of coma.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it may be that he may pass away. My brother is a physician, so he told me the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in such emotional state. I was like numb. All my body was numb, like I was walking into the air. And I wanted to connect and see if I can have a chat with my father in this state, because I know people in coma, they etherical body is out of the physical body. And I couldn't because of the emotions. All the emotions I had, they kind of blocked all that connection. So I went to Psychic Horizon Center, and I asked one of the teachers, the instructor, whoever was there, to help me. So she told me to go in meditation. She guided me. I closed my eyes. I just followed her instructions. And she said, he's in coma. He's out of the physical body. Just call his name to come to you. So in this state, actually, first what I saw his hospital room, and him like an astral body just on top of his physical body, looking at his physical body. And I felt an angelic presence everywhere. So I called his name, and right away, momentarily, he came in front of me, and he was presenting himself like 30 years old. I remember him when he was in 30s. So he came on that, presenting himself like 30 years old, and he was like in a oval shape, egg shape circumference, says, and all of it was like filled with the golden light, and he was so peaceful. He was so calm. It was like something divine. And I looked into his blue eyes, and our conversation started, and we were talking by thoughts, just his thoughts popping into my mind. And I asked him, Dad, I know you made your choice. No, I said, I know it's your choice to leave or stay, but would you please stay with us for a couple more years? And I looked into his eyes, and he said, his thought came into my mind. He smiled, and his thought said, well, it doesn't make any sense for me to stay any longer. And then I asked, and I realized he's made his choice, and nothing I can do here. And I asked him, what can I do for you right now in this moment for you? And he said, love your life and love it for me as well.
That's really beautiful.
Yes. And after that, if I had before this turmoil of emotions, I didn't know what to do. What's my next step? Like a divine peace came over me, and I knew that I have to go home. Because he's leaving.
Yeah. And I find that very interesting. And one of the reasons, because the story is really a beautiful story of that connection that you had with your father. But also the interesting thing for me is that was a part of telepathy or remote viewing is what you were doing in that moment. And, and what I loved about that story is it really shows people that it does happen and you can do it, which is really amazing.
Yes, it does happen. And I can tell it happens in meditation. And actually, if you want, you can go in meditation to biolocate someplace else, you can do it. It happened to me many times. It just was uncontrolled. And in meditation, I would just locate any part of the world in past. I've
Really?
never had that experience to biolocate myself in the future, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So you went into a meditation and you went to another part of the world. Where did you go? What were some of the places that you ended up through remote viewing?
It wasn't like intentionally. I was once in meditation. I was in Malaysia, in Sumatra, and the guys were telling me about that there is like a clock, like Earth clock, that has to be synchronized with the clock of the universe. And that clock is right there in Sumatra, and they were showing like that jungle and kind of it looked like to me tombstone.
Oh,
I said, I hope I don't have to go to synchronize that clock.
crazy. Because I was going to ask you, was there something that you had read or something that you had
No.
come across? It was just a random, your guides wanted you to learn something experience?
That's just random information. Yeah.
Well, I don't believe anything's random. There had to have been a point to it. It's just what was the point? That's my belief, that nothing is random. Everything happens for a reason, but you don't always know what the reason is. So
yeah, I don't know what is the reason, but I have that. It was several years ago,
wow.
and I could actually, in meditation or in my dreams, I went to different universes, different planets, meeting different beings, and yeah, pretty interesting information. One time in my meditation. One time in my meditation, my guides showed me my book of lives, and it was
Wait. Book of lives or lives?
Book of lives.
Lives. Okay.
Yes. And I was just so curious. I said, how many lives did I live on Earth? And they said 176.
Oh my. You know, it's interesting to me because watching the comments, okay, Marsha wants to know if you went into the future. Did you go into the future?
No, that's the interesting thing. I've never went into the future. Never.
You didn't want to, or they just didn't take you there, or it's
the future is not set in the stone, so it depends on our choices from the present moment. So
and that
I'm experienced to go into the future. Even I had a session of life in between lives, and I was with my guides and my council of guides there, and they were showing me this how we design our next life, and it was so fun because I saw myself in spirit before coming into this life, just choosing, and like I was playing video games. Oh, I want this option. No, I don't like it. Maybe I do this one. Maybe and when time came to see my future from today's point, the screen was black. I was like, really?
And that's a really good point because let's see, who was it? Okay. Because yes. Okay. I'll come back to the other question. Sorry. I thought there was another question to that, but what you said is so accurate because free will is a part of our life. And not only do I have free will, but you have free will.
Yes.
So your free will can change a decision I make or vice versa, or with anybody that's watching this or in the world. So that's why it's really difficult. There are some things that are fate, but they're very few, because it's still based off of free will that would lead you to that moment. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's undetermined. There is no future because we create our future every day and every moment of our life.
Yes.
Which is
there could be a million possibilities of our future, but again, it depends what you choose today, which way to go.
But we do have proclivities. Like you know, I'm trying to think. There is a very high likelihood that next Thursday I will be doing another Facebook Live. But there's also things that can happen between now and then that could take me off of that course. But chances are I will be here next Thursday, right? So that's an example of how it would work. But it's interesting. To answer your question, Susan, you absolutely can go into life experiences through meditation. I think we already answered going into the future. You can see some things, but overall, you're not going to see a lot. I mean, you can get a prediction. This has started a whole Pandora's box. I'm sorry. Let me go into this, and you can talk to this with me. When you go to a psychic, you're going to that person for the potential of what it is that could happen, because nobody can tell you what can happen. When you go to a medium about things that are happening in your life, that's coming from the spiritual world that knows all things. So there's a difference in the two, but the difference in the spiritual world is they're never going to tell you what to do. They're never going to tell you you should marry X or you should not marry X or whatever it's going to be, because you have free will. So I hope that answers your question. What can you add to that, Victoria?
Yes, and the spirit will not interfere with somebody's free will. That's the law of the universe. And I have the experience with my father in spirit after he passed away. Also, like 2 weeks later, I was in the taxi already coming to the airport in my home country to return to United States. And I was sitting on the back seat, and I felt my father's energy. I felt my father sitting just right by me.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "You're so brave." And I looked at him. Of course, I felt his energy.
Yes.
Direction where I felt his energy.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "I know. I always was brave." And he says, "I know." And I started smiling, and he just flew. I saw his energy flew out of the window like in a movie about the ghosts, like shoo. I saw his energy like that. And I was thinking, well, he's in spirit. He knows, because in that dimension, past, present, and future, it's a now. There is no time and space.
Right.
So telling me I am brave, I know myself from the past. Yes, I was brave doing things like other people not even think to do it. I had the courage to do them. But on the other hand, I was thinking he might have telling me something, not telling me, but giving me some hints, something about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a the one thing that I've learned very well through my life is that, because I've been through a lot of different religious backgrounds and ideas and whatever, we absolutely don't know for sure what is on the other side or what actually is going. Like, even the idea of being able to do mediumship is so amazing, because how can I know your grandfather? How can I tell you about your grandfather? But yet we're able to do that through our own senses and our own being. So it's like, we're definitely guided. We're never directed or forced to do anything. So it's such a fine line that we cross when you go to that spiritual world, because they're very real. And I think we've talked about this before, about the spirits you were talking about this. Actually, you were talking about this on the Last Breath website, about how when our loved ones pass, they are not going up to heaven or gone away from us. They're around us. It's just that they're vibrating at a different vibration than we are. Do you want to talk a little about that? And then I'll go back to somebody had a question. I'll come back to your question. I think it was Susan. Yeah, Susan's. I'll come back to Susan's question after this.
Yes, and my point in this story was to tell people passed away people, they don't go into the sky like, oh, we'll look into the sky. They're around us. We have quite a few dimensions that are around us. We just don't see them. And they're like, if we take a cake with the layers, and this cake just, how it says, collapses, all those layers would be into each other. The same here. All these dimensions, they're here in our 3D. They just like would be like collapsed cake layers. And in those dimensions where the spirit world resides. So we're walking, we're living in this ocean of air, but at the same time, it's an ocean of different dimensions, different beings, ocean of a spirit world as well.
Yeah. It's very complex. So, Sharon, I do want to hear your story, and I'll tell you about it in a minute, Victoria, because we're going to figure out how to hear your story, I should say. But Susan wanted to ask, where did that go? I don't understand totally what you're asking, Susan, about can the divine train someone to do something they want them to do, or am I just experiencing anxiety?
Can the divine train someone to do something they want them to do? I think that's a free will of that person, what they want to do.
Right.
The divine can only assist with the training, but I don't think they can make somebody to do something, even in a training, even in spiritual training.
You know, our guides are here to guide us. Like
Right.
If you go to a coach, they're not going to tell you what to do. They're not going to make the phone calls for you, to pay the bills for you, to go to work for you, to do the inner work for you. They're not going to do that. They're going to give you the tools for you to go in and do it yourself. And that's kind of what a guide does. They give us the tools to be able to move forward. So again, it's going back to that free will. We all have free will, and none of the spiritual world, your guides, the angels, none of them will make you do anything. It's not possible for a spirit to possess my beliefs. It's not possible for a spirit to possess a body. They can blend with us, but they can't possess us. That's my belief system on that one. But I love the question, because it's one of those things, don't you think, where we're on that fine line of they guide us, because there's certain things in our life, and I think like mediumship, I think that everybody can be a medium, but I know a physicist is probably not, especially a high functioning physicist, is probably not going to go into mediumship because their mind is going to be in a different place. And I feel like we all have different things in life that we're doing. So not all of us are going to do the same thing, because we come here for a specific purpose, right?
By the way, I have about a year or two ago, I was listening on YouTube. Actually, I found a medium who was a physicist.
I knew you were
going to I don't remember his name, but he was very known. He's very known physicist, and he became medium. He trained with at Arthur Findlay College, and he's a good medium. I just don't remember his name. Yeah.
You know, okay, so I love what you said, because what you said is so true. That person, even if that person was very mental, to be a physicist, you have to really know a lot of mental things. That person didn't live in that mental state. So that person was able to take that mental mind and put it aside and be able to use the other one that we all have, the creativity, the dreaming, the exploring, all that is what we use when we're connecting with spirit. So that was a great example of
Actually, he was explaining mediumship as from the point of view of physics, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
I will let you guys know. But the point being, though, is that we're here for a purpose, so all of us are not going to do the same thing. But if it's something that's totally within your, I think your pattern or your path, then your guides and your angels and your helpers and your ancestors, they'll all help you to get to where you need to go. So they can train you, but they're not going to train you in something that's not going to be in your best and highest good. Correct?
Yes, the guides will make, if somebody wants to just take a spiritual path, train in clairvoyancy and mediumship, just the guides will find teachers for that person. They will find the other like-minded people. They will make everything possible that person to meet all these people. Yeah, but they cannot. But it's again that person's free will if he wants to do or not.
And I like, Susan, what you're saying about passion and destiny. There are differences between your destiny, because we do have things in our life that we are destined to do or to get to. But there are also those things that we're passionate about. And the thing I love about free will is, like, when I started, I went into the physical realm, like nutrition. I wanted to be a naturopath in the worst way. I was working towards that. And through that, though, awakened my spiritual connection to mediumship and psychic abilities. So we all travel in different ways to get to where we need to go.
Yes. Yes, different people have different ways to get to mediumship or spirituality, but at the end you come to the spirituality. How it says, all the roads come to the Rome.
Exactly.
I'm saying this so many times in my family. My kids and my daughter says, Mom, all the roads come home. I say, you're right.
I think my kids say the same thing. That is one of my favorite sayings. When somebody's like, how do we get there? I'm like, all roads lead to Rome.
Yes.
Because they do. They will eventually get you there somehow. So the interesting thing that I wanted to go back to, though, is when you go into meditation and you go into these different realms, what are some of the, like, beyond this experience, what are some of the experiences that you've had? Like going into, like, other planets, or going into other beings, going into maybe what something's going to look like. Did you ever go into what actually may be the potential of the world in, like, I don't know, 100 years? Something?
No. Every time when I meditate, I think just it's not controlled by me. Like, I want to go there or I want to go there. I just go meditate, and my guides just take me wherever they think I need to be, and give me the information I need to know. Yes.
Have you been able to do any kind of like healing from that space as well for somebody?
No, I haven't.
Oh, interesting.
No, I haven't.
Okay, maybe that'll come.
Maybe I've never thought about that, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm full of good ideas. I give them away, though. I don't keep them. So you now have come into being a medium, and that's what you do. It's part of what you do. You do many other things, but that's a part of what you do. How has that helped and changed your life?
In many ways. I'm more patient because I wasn't a patient person. I wanted it right away. More patient, more compassion. And when I do the readings with people, I can feel their soul. I can see their soul. And no matter who is sitting in front of them, I can feel that wonderful, lovely, beautiful soul, and full of love. And sometimes it happens very rarely, but sometimes after the readings, I may start crying. When the reading is gone, the client is gone, the reading is done,
Oh,
I may start crying because
yeah.
I was feeling that soul, that
Beauty.
person that was sitting in front of me, a live person, soul, that, oh my gosh, I just tears of joy, I would say, tears of, I don't know, just feeling that divine love in that person's soul.
I was reading a question. Something that you had said I wanted to comment on until I saw Susan's question. Oh, I'm sorry. It was interesting because it was something that you said that made me think of it. Okay, if it comes back, it'll come back. Now I'm totally off track. Sorry. This doesn't happen to me usually. I think my brain is still trying to get that question because it was a really good question.
I see. Let me read a question. I'll answer that question until you'll get back on track. So
Susan, off track from Susan's question.
Susan Fortier is saying, so am I losing my marbles or what? Not Susan, you're not losing your marbles. This is so complex. It's very hard to comprehend. Our human brain is not trained yet in such a way. So this is a lot of information just pouring like cold shower over you. You're totally normal. You're not losing your marbles.
Okay, I'll come back to that. So, I agree with you. It's like for me, there were times where I really did think I was losing my marbles because how did I know this stuff? How could I like speak something and it would be like right to the heart of somebody's whatever it was. And you think you can't be doing that. But the more that you do that and you build that confidence, like I bet, Susan, that you do that kind of thing and or know something or because all of us have different, we're going to go into the clairs now, we all have different clairs, whether it be hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, knowing, feeling, and so those usually we have a couple that are really heightened, and that's what usually, if we're paying attention to that, then we know that we really are doing something. We're either connecting or telling the truth about something or something along that line. So I think for me, it was just practicing and knowing that, yes, I can do this. And this is what I've always done, because then it feels familiar, right? It's like, yeah, I've been doing this all my life. I just didn't know what I was doing. And I think that's the hard part.
Yeah, I had the same experience before I became medium. I was meditating, and I was feeling like the energy of love building so much into my heart space that I thought if I'm not gonna release it, I'm just gonna blow up. And I started meditating, just releasing that energy around me, just sending it to everybody who needs in this moment. On the Earth planet, all the beings in the universe, and I didn't know that is just sitting in power.
Yeah.
Until I started studying mediumship. I said, "Wow, I was doing all along this this sitting in the power, and I didn't know I'm sitting in the power."
Yeah. I think a lot of the things that we learn as we're going along, we're not really learning them, we're remembering them, because they're things that we've been doing. We just didn't realize we were doing it until it was given a name. And you're like, oh, yeah, I do that all the time.
And another situation I had in life a decade ago, I was going through difficult times in my life. And one of my friends just told me, well, we have choices in life, and we have like intersection. Here you're at the intersection, and you have like 2 or 3 ways to go, and you have to choose which way to go, like in that Russian story tale. And after, it came to me like bam in my head, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I knew this all my life, and I
Mhm.
forgot it. How did I forget it? But I
Mhm.
knew all about this inside of my, like, in my soul space, let's say.
Mhm.
And in my human life, in this present life, I never thought it. I said, and when she said it, it brought this memory back to me, like my physical, and a thought came to me. I said, oh my gosh, I knew this all my life. How did I forget it?
How long does it take for you to do a guided meditation for this kind of connection?
It depends. Sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes uh, 20 minutes, no more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The information comes very quickly.
Do you want to guide people through a meditation? I know you
Now,
want to, and if you don't, if that's putting you on the spot, then I understand.
right now I can guide, but I have a meditation connecting with the loved ones. Is that okay?
Okay, perfect. You guys ready for that?
Yep.
Ready, get comfortable, get grounded, and we'll let Victoria take us on a
Yeah.
ride.
Sit comfortable where you are in your chairs or couch, where you can lay down on the floor. Close your eyes and we'll start. Take a few deep breaths just to clear your mind, allowing your body to relax. With each breath in, your body is relaxing. With each breath out, releasing all your stress and tension. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Allow your breathing to return to your normal state. If you have any thoughts racing through your mind, is okay. Acknowledge them and let them move on by. Don't allow them stay and mingle. Keep breathing. Keep relaxing. Deeper and deeper. In your mind, see yourself walking in a place of your choice that brings you peace. It could be near a body of water, on the mountain, in a meadow. Whatever it is that brings you peace. See yourself there now. Breathe that peace in. Find that peace within you. As you look ahead, you see a stairway going upwards. As you look up, you see this stairway going into the clouds. Start walking towards stairway. As you get closer, you feel the excitement within you. You now step on the first step of the stairs. Begin to climb the stairs. Don't worry how high they are. You can handle these stairs with no problem. You feel more excited. You know that at the top of these stairs, you will be in the most beautiful place of unconditional love. Keep walking up the stairs. Now you're at the top. As you gaze out in front of you, you see clouds are moving away, and you see a beautiful garden. You feel love. You feel like nothing felt before. You know you need to walk into the garden. You are safe, and you feel that safety. You may experience sensations, but all is divine. All is in love. You are safe. As you walk on the path in front of you, you see a bench. Walk to the bench now, noticing all the beautiful flowers along the way. And as you reach the bench, have a seat. As you sit here, close your eyes and imagine your loved ones in the spirit world are joining you. In your mind, see ahead of you a very soft glow of light. This light is moving towards you, and you become more excited. As this light gets closer, it becomes bigger and bigger, and then takes the form of somebody you recognize in the spirit world. You see them clearly now, who they are, standing right in front of you. You may hold their hands, give them a hug and talk to them for as long as you desire. I leave you here with a loved one.
That was
Nothing.
beautiful.
No, it's not the end. I just give
Oh,
some time for people
okay.
to be with their loved one. So the time is coming now for us to say goodbye. Find yourself back on that path leading you to the stairway. Your heart is full of love. Step back on the stairway. Begin walking down on one step at a time until we get to the bottom. When you reach the bottom of the stairs, you're back in that place where you find peace. Become aware of your body, your surroundings. Become aware of the sounds. Move your fingers and toes. Take a couple of deep breaths, bringing yourself back to the present moment. Breath in, breath out. Stretch yourself. Welcome back. So if somebody did not experience a loved one, don't get frustrated. Just keep meditating. It will be changing, and just allow this time in between when you meet them. You hold his hands and you start talking. Maybe you need a longer time, not 2 or 3 minutes, as we.
That was fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I interrupted the middle of it. You guys put your experience down. Who came through for you if you did meet a loved one? And welcome from London. Thank you for being here.
I wanted to say that the same. We have somebody from UK.
So my grandmother actually was there, and that was really nice to see.
That's beautiful.
I could feel her, but she comes through really fast now because she's one of my biggest top hitters. So cheerleading team. So yeah, put your questions. I mean, put your experience down there and how you enjoyed that meditation. Oh, an angel dressed in blue. I wonder if it was Archangel Michael. Michael usually is in blue. Or so can Saint Germain be in blue. Oh, that's really good, Susan, that you felt the presence, because that's a lot of the part of it. Getting relationships are exactly knowing. May not be your Claire, and that takes practice. She was with you when you were young. That's really cool. Well, that's nice that you enjoyed peace, Marcia. I'm sure, I don't know if you felt it, Victoria, but I felt a lot of people around. A lot of souls were there, all conjugating. I totally could feel it. Your mother briefly sat on the bench with you. Wow, that's really cool, Sharon. Did any of you get a message from anybody? Like, did your mother, Sharon, leave you a message? That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, the time was too short. I let everybody to sit for 2 minutes because we don't have a background music, and if I would stretch it for longer, people just would come out from the meditation by themselves.
Yeah. Well, everybody had a great experience, as short as that was. That was really good. What was the chatter, Susan? What do you mean by chatter? No? So, one of the things that I want to do for you guys, anybody who watches this, I'm going to do a raffle for this book next week. So anybody who doesn't have this book, just either put in here, yes, please, or email me at Joanne@ReachTheUnlimited, and I will accept to London. I don't know about that one. No, I'm joking. Anybody can have it. I will send it to London. So anyway, I want to put this, I'm going to give it a week. So everybody give me whatever, give me an email, give me a hi, give me a whatever. Yes, please. And I'll do a drawing next week and I'll announce it on next week's video. So do you have anything else what do you think the biggest takeaway that you want people to know about?
As I say, if you feel something, especially after a loved one passed, feel something like you say, oh, it's my imagination. I felt something into my house moving, or some kind of sounds, or I feel something around me, and you say, oh, I think I'm getting nuts, or that's not true. You're not getting nuts. That's the reality of the spirit world. They want to get to you, and since we have an analytical mind to judge and analyze everything, we think it's just our imagination. But that what it makes is wonderful, that our imagination is that soul GPS, that I would say intuition is our soul GPS. Our imagination is real, And I had one time a client, and I was connecting with her grandmother when I told her exactly how her grandmother wants to get to her. She started crying and she said, I exactly experienced all of these signs and feelings, and I thought I'm going crazy. I thought something is wrong with me. And I said to her, no, you're not crazy. Otherwise, I'll be much more crazier than you.
I think that people, because I see people that are totally relating with what you're saying, is that when we're new to it, we don't understand all of the things that are happening, and we don't know how to deal with them. And I think that's just about, watching things of respected people on YouTube, because there's good and bad in anything. But it's also like what you did, sitting in the meditation and paying attention and letting your guides help you, and let your guides and your ancestries teach you and work with you, and try to get into circles. Like if you can get into development circles, that also is helpful in developing these things. I think developing it and using it more and more helps you not to feel so crazy, because you actually feel, know, see, hear, understand what really is the truth.
Yeah, I would say meditation will help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation will help a lot. It will open those barriers
Yep.
to communicate with guides and
Yep.
with the spirit world. And as Suzanne says, nobody believes me, say it's anxiety. Suzanne, not necessary to say to everybody. You can say you just saw that in your dreams. Just, I had a dream about something.
Yeah, there you go.
Want to bring that to the world. People will can understand that, yeah, you saw that in the dream, it's okay. But when you tell them that you experienced, not everybody is open to hear that.
I'm really curious, Susan, that you feel it's anxiety, or people say it's anxiety. What exactly are you feeling that would make you feel anxiety, or somebody to think you were feeling anxiety? I'm curious about that. You do need to keep your mind open, definitely. Mm-hmm. Carolyn, you're funny. Thank you for telling everybody to go order the book. It gives our numbers better ratings. So Marilyn said, go order the book. You can get it on Amazon. That's funny. I'm looking at the questions, Victoria. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can, if you have any questions about mediumship, afterlife, guides, you can ask now. Past lives, questions about the soul. I'm all about the soul.
Yeah, I am too. The soul is a big part of it. So, so when you're saying strange things are happening to you, what are the strange things, warnings? My son. Well, those are premonitions. Premonitions are good. I'm with you though. I have trouble with premonitions. Why would you feel unsafe? I think that you're feeling things that are normal, Susan, but you're not knowing what you need to pay attention to and what you don't, for one, and two, not giving power into fear, I think, is another message. Does anybody have any questions about?
I saw somebody's asking what's the name of my story. My story is called "The Heavens Surround Us."
She's number 41.
41, and actually, it is a synchronicity. My father was born in 1941.
Ah.
When I was writing the story, I felt his energy besides me. Well, he was like, oh. He was happy.
The name of this interview also is the name of the title of your book. Story. So yeah.
No.
So what was the most, I think, beneficial thing of writing that story for you? How did that impact you?
How that impacted me? As I said, when my father told me, when he was already in spirit and told me, you're brave, I think just putting that story out, that was a lot of courage to put it out there. and how it impacted. Well, I went out of the closet with my and my friends, and my family now knows who I am. And I'm not afraid to say
Mhm.
I'm a medium. I am who I am.
Yes. I was in a meeting last night and it was the first time, it was like, who are you? It's like, blah, 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 right? It was just like, I'm not all blah, blah, blah. I'm a medium. I'm a psychic medium. It was like, okay, I'm just going to own this. I can understand how you would be fearful about the warning about your son, but you wouldn't get the warning if it wasn't something you couldn't handle. And that's one of the things about spirit, whether we do mediumship or psychics work, we're still dealing with the human psyche, right? And so we have to always do things that would be in no harm. Like we don't want to say something that would harm somebody. And the spiritual world does the same thing, I believe, as well. They're not going to give you information that you can't handle. So you must have gotten that because that was something you needed to know to help your son. So it's embracing it. It's learning to embrace it. I know it can be scary at times.
Yeah, the spirit world will not scare us.
No, they won't.
Never, never.
They don't mean to. I still get afraid when I see something or something. I jump. Yes, thank you, Marcia. It is the story. Victoria's story is a story right before my story. My story is number 42, chapter 42. So that's really good. So do you guys have any last questions? Any last things you want to talk? Is there anything you want to add to this, Victoria?
So this is a wonderful book.
Mm-hmm.
There are 48 authors that have written the stories, real life stories they had to experience in their life. So you can keep this book as a reference for your spiritual library. And if you read it these days, you may read it in 1 year, in 2 years, and 3 years, and you'll always find something new.
Yes, you will in all of these stories. And the beautiful thing behind, at the back of it is there is the author's information. Hold on, let me figure this out. And there is Victoria's author's information. There we go. I did it. Yay. Whoa. So yeah, there's 48 authors. They're amazing people. If you guys want to hop over to the Last Breath Facebook page, then you can see what's going on there. There's a party going on there pretty much every day throughout the day. And there's drawings that are still going on over there and raffles that are going on over there as well. And you'll be able to meet more of the authors. I'm going to have a few more authors on as well here, and we can have more interesting conversation. So people want to know where to find more about you. Marilyn, you can find her. You have the book. I know you do. You can find her information in the book after her story. But how can people get a hold of you, Victoria?
I have a website, www.followyoursoulsdivinesgifts.com. And actually, I started doing Akashic Records a while ago. That's why the name of the website is this name, and then I added mediumship later. Or on Facebook, Victoria Powers Medium, or on Instagram, Victoria Powers Medium.
Awesome. Okay. That's great. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here and all of your wonderful questions and your comments. I know I didn't get to a lot of them, so I'll go back and handle each one of them. And Victoria, thank you so much for your time and being here with me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you very much for inviting me here. It was a pleasure.
It was fun. We've been all kinds of directions today. All right, everybody, take care.